Welcome back to My Mythical Meta. My name is Travis, and I'm joined by the entire crew. Everyone, all the members of the meta are here. I'm joined by my brother Benjamin.
Hello.
My good friend Derek.
Hello.
And the triumphant return of Randy.
Yay!
Today, we have another episode of Magic Players Try Worse Card Games. Now, obviously, that name of this series is tongue-in-cheek. The idea behind this series is that we, as Magic players, are stepping out and learning a bunch of new card games. You can check out our playlist here, where we have already played Lorcana and Wonders of the First. And today, our game is Gundam Card Game.
Nice.
It has been so great getting into this card game. We love the Gundam series.
Yes.
And it has been so much fun to just dive back into it. But that's what this series is all about, where we learn the rules to a new game, we acquire some starter product, and we compare the learning of that game to what we already know about Magic. And we discuss the things that we like and dislike, how hard it is to learn, and ultimately we make a judgment on whether we think other Magic players should check it out. So, like I said, today's game is Gundam Card Game. Coming up soon, we've got Universes and Union Arena. The product has been acquired for Flesh and Blood and Star Wars Unlimited. So we have got a lot of games on the docket ready to go. But if you didn't hear your card game mentioned, leave a comment and tell us which other card games you think we ought to try. Now it's time for our new push. We are shooting for 2K followers on Spotify. We really want to spread our feelers in the audio field. We want people taking our show on the go. If you are a Spotify follower already, leave us a 5-star review and we will read the best ones live on the pod.
Yes, we will.
I can't wait to read our praise live on the pod for why this is a great show. But obviously, guys, 5-star reviews help the algorithm. More people can discover us if we're getting good reviews. So if you like the show and if you think we've got insights worth listening to, please give us a 5-star review and we will read the good ones live here on the pod. New community shout out, a new member shout out going out to Smoke Face Dragon.
Yeah.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Smoke Face Dragon. Now, Smoke Face Dragon is a new YouTube member who literally just joined us about an hour ago. He joined us on YouTube as a full Hardness Metapod member. So, Smoke Face Dragon, thank you. We are so excited to have you in our community, and thanks for taking that leap of faith to support us. Listeners, you too can become a Patreon supporter by going to patreon.com/mymythicalmeta, or you can become a YouTube Full Hardness Metapod by clicking join near our channel name anywhere here on YouTube, just like Smokeface Dragon did. There is one new way that listeners can support the show. You can rep your love for My Mythical Meta with merch. Everybody show off, y'all. We have got merch. We've got t-shirts, mugs, sweatshirts, caps. We've got a little bit of everything hosted by the site called Fourth Wall. The quality of the product that we got has been amazing. There's tons of different color varieties in the shirts and sweatshirts. There's even a beanie cap that I think I'm going to get because my bald head kind of gets cold sometimes.
Winter's coming.
So you can find that site in the link in the description, and it'll be tagged in the corner somewhere during the time that we spoke about this. Man, find that merch, that apparel with that sweet, sweet My Mythical Meta logo. And then when people are asking, hey, what are you wearing? Then you can get more people to follow us as well.
It's peacocking.
I can't wait for more and more products to come out, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So follow the link to our Fourth Wall in the description. And lastly, you can contact us directly by leaving comments on any of our social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or sending an email to mymythicalmeta@gmail.com. Okay, all of our social media coordinates and announcements out of the way. Let's get to our get to our episode about Gundam Card Game. I mean, Randy, I think you have to tell us how your first day with Gundam Card Game went.
Yeah, so we did the pre-release that first weekend. It came
Yeah,
out.
it was a starter deck release tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, that first week it came out, and me, Derek, Travis, we all signed up. We went to a local card shop, and I somehow just got lucky. Won, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 rounds. One of them was a no-show. My first one was a no-show, so that gave me a round of practice with someone else. But then the next 3, I won. It was pretty cool. And then I think the only people I lost to had upgraded their decks, and I was playing with straight out of the box Precon. But I got
Awesome.
7th out of like 60 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Randy occupied table 1 for most of the night. Derek and I are slumming it down at table 24.
Yeah.
I mean, I did not do well at all. I think the only game I won was a no-show. Somebody who had dropped already. And I lost all my other games. If you know anything from the channel so far, Benjamin and I have been Gundam fans for a very, very, very long time. We're all millennials, and we grew up on Gundam Wing playing in Toonami after school. And especially Gundam Wing, its design is so amazing. Every suit has such an iconic silhouette. But when you rewatch it as an adult, it gets better and better because you understand more all the intricate plot points and the political discourse and the ideals that Gundam is so well known for discussing in their shows. So this has been a lot of fun kind of delving into this game with you guys. I've really enjoyed it. So for our listeners now, let's do a quick overview over how the Gundam card game is played and what the game flow looks like. The goal of this game is to destroy your opponent's 6 shield cards and then to attack them directly. You can attack with mobile suits, and you can power those suits up with pilots. You can attach a pilot from your hand onto those mobile suits. There are special actions with command cards, and people can protect their shields with bases. So that's the overall objective of the game, is using your suits to get through all of their shields and then to attack them directly. Randy, tell us about the resources that we're working with.
So at the start of every round, you automatically just gain 1 resource. So in the first round, first person to go they flip 1 resource over, and that means that they are level 1, and your level is determined by how many resource cards you have. And then if you are the second person to go, anyone but the first, if you're doing like a 4-player format, anyone but the first player gets an EX resource, which is like a one-time use resource that when you use it, it is removed. As long as you keep it, though, you are having a level advantage, getting to play some of those bigger cards a little bit sooner. But as soon as you use it, it goes away. And so the resource is basically like your mana. You use it to play the mechs, the pilots, the commands, whatever it is. So yeah, so you use that to play your cards out. Being limited to 10, I guess up to 11-ish if you have your EX resource the whole time, it kind of limits, how much you can play, but I think that's kind of a good thing. I think you can only have 6 mechs out at a time.
You can only have 6 units on your field at any time, yeah.
So it's not like you're handicapped by the amount of resources you have. Pretty good system.
Yeah.
Super simple.
Very simple. It's just a separate deck of 10 cards, and then you can just bring that resource pack with any deck you play because it's the same resources each time. Randy mentioned that anyone who's not the first player, the second player, gets an EX resource. For us Magic players, that was really easy to grok because it's a one-time use thing, just like a treasure token. Once a treasure token is used, it immediately goes away, it disappears. And that's what an EX resource is like too. Your level is determined by how many resources you have, and all the cards in your hand have a required level. So you can't play those cards until it checks your board state, it checks your level as a yes or no check to whether you can even play that card at all. Do y'all think we covered everything about resources and levels?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's get to the different card types. As of now, in Gundam Card Game, there are only 4. It's very easy to understand what each of these 4 card types does. Derek, start us off.
Yeah, so the first and I guess most important thing is the units, which are your Gundams, your mechs, the things that are actually doing the fighting and stuff. Only suits can attack enemy suits or the enemy player. Units have abilities, attack power, and HP. They cannot attack the turn they are played unless they become linked with a specific pilot. Most of them have some kind of link criteria with a specific pilot that says, like, hey, if you do this, that kind of gets rid of a summoning sickness. But Travis can explain that.
Yeah, so like all of your generic units, like your grunts, most of them can't be link units. They are going to have summoning sickness, and that's a magic term that just means it can't attack the turn it's played. But in this game, if the right pilot jumps into a suit, then it has haste. It can attack immediately. So pilots are the next major card type. And these are the human beings from all of the different Gundam series. Now, pilots, whenever you play them from your hand, they immediately get attached to a mech, and they are attached to that suit permanently. They can't switch suits. You can't play another pilot onto that suit. It's stuck to it. Pilots will change the mech's attack power and HP, in most cases giving them buffs, giving them pluses. So the really good pilots will sometimes do it by +2, and the bad pilots will usually do it by +1 or even +0 in some cases. So if a pilot's name matches the name that's in the link description on a suit, then that's something called a link unit, and it will often have some type of special ability. But the main one is that it can attack immediately. It doesn't have to wait an extra turn before it can immediately start attacking your opponent. Like I said, pilots are attached to that suit permanently. So if that suit is destroyed or removed or returned to the hand or anything else, the pilot goes with it. And we had a funny moment at the shop where there's a card that returns a unit to the hand, and we were wondering, well, what happens to the pilot? Is it like an aura in Magic where the pilot goes to the graveyard, where the pilot goes to the trash? And the judge looked at us like we were idiots and said, he's in the suit.
Right.
So yes, they stay connected. Benjamin, what's next?
All right. Next, you have command cards. For Magic players, your command cards are going to be like your instants and sorceries. They are single-use cards that represent an event. Many of them also have a pilot on them, but typically the pilot is a secondary thing on a command card. Command cards will have an ability that says either main or action, and we'll kind of get to that in a second. But if it says main, that means you play it on your turn like a sorcery. If it says action, you can play it on your turn during an action step or on an opponent's turn during an action step. Command cards are basically the only ways to interact with other players on their turn. Most everything in this game is done at sorcery speed. These are typically going to be secondary cards. You're not going to have a whole lot of command cards in a deck, but they can be useful. And it feels good, especially playing with the starter decks, to sit on a few command cards and be like, oh, you're attacking me? Haha. Actually, you can't knock out my shield. I have what is it called? Feeling of Tranquility. Oh, no. Tranquil Timbre.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Katra playing his violin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so those are command cards.
Yeah, and Benjamin did mention that command cards, some of them also have a pilot on them, but you still can only play it as one or the other. You still have to choose how to play that card. It doesn't function as both. So it's not a pilot with a super ability. It's a pilot, a bad one, but maybe a link one, or a command card. And Randy, tell us how we can protect our shields.
So you're going to use a base to protect your shield. Bases represent major locations from the Gundam series. You begin the game with an EX base, which is a base with no abilities and only 3 HP. But you do get it
like
for free.
A token base.
Yeah. It's a freebie
base
that they give you to just be like, so you're not naked out there with your shields revealed.
Yeah.
So bases always have to be destroyed before you can attack someone's shield. The bases really so far have 5 HP, and deploying one will let you take a shield card and add it to your hand. And then a lot of them will have some other ability as well.
I'm assuming that at some point in the future, they will start changing bases up.
Yeah.
And giving them different amounts of HP, different abilities. But so far, every single base released has said, take a shield from your shield area and add it to your hand. So it's an interesting choice to make.
Yeah, bases actually have HP. So yeah, he's saying it. Obviously, it lowers the number of shields you have, but they may take more than one hit to destroy, which is like having extra shields. So you have to look at the board and decide, am I going to play out bases to lower the number of shields I have? And you're only ever going to have one base at a time. You'll have one base. If you play a new base, the old one goes away, and you're taking cards from your shields and putting them in your hand.
Now we kind of get to the game flow, about the back and forth, the turn taking of attacking and making the decision to attack your opponent's units or to attack your opponent and to start chewing through their bases and their shields. Benjamin, can you tell us a little bit about the game flow of the game?
Yeah, so you play out suits using the resources you have, assuming that you've met the correct level by having enough total resources. And then if you want to give a suit haste, the magic equivalent of haste, you have to also play a link pilot. Otherwise, you have to wait a turn to attack with it. You can either attack the enemy directly, or you can attack a mobile suit that is tapped or rested, is what they call it. So when you attack, you turn your suit sideways, and it is now rested. And it can attack either another rested unit that an enemy has, or their base, if there is a base, or if there is no base, their shields. And if there are no shields left, you attack them directly and you win. If you attack a shield, it will go away. But you flip it over first to check to see if it has a burst triggered ability. If it does, you do whatever it says before you put it in the discard pile. And then, of course, if they have no remaining shields and you attack them, they're dead, you win. And then there are only 2 designated times for you to respond on another player's turn with command cards or abilities on cards, and those are called action phases. So the first time you can do it is after blocks are declared in a battle. So some mobile suits can block. They say they have blocker and they can jump in the way of an attack. Whether or not an attack is being blocked, it doesn't matter. After that step, you can then play anything that lets you do something during the action step. The other thing is at the end of the turn, there's an action step where everybody can play their abilities and cards. Usually in our games, that doesn't happen a whole lot.
No.
In fact, I don't think I've ever seen any of us do an end of turn action.
I have yet to play an action on anybody else's turn.
Yeah, same.
And that might just be the quality of the cards we have.
Yeah.
Because we just have the cards from the starter decks. I've certainly bought some boosters, but nothing game changing or game saving that would turn the tables during an end step.
Yeah, I have played ones that are say like return a level 3 unit to its owner's hand. Well, okay, you're attacking me. I don't want to die, so I play that. I've done that a couple times. But yeah, very rarely are you playing stuff on other people's turns. I don't know how a stack would work. I assume you do it and it resolves and the other person does something and it resolves, but I don't know. I haven't really seen that.
I don't know. I don't think it's gotten that complex yet. The vocabulary they used for tapping suits is kind of weird because they call it, when it's tapped, they call it rested. To us in English, if something's rested, that kind of means like it's ready. It's prepared.
Yeah,
if something feels rested.
Like DD, after you have like a short rest, you're rested, things
Yeah.
like that.
Being rested is good. I think a word they could have gone with might have been like vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like attacking makes me vulnerable. Now you can attack me. You can only attack tapped units or go for the bases. I don't know. It's a lexicon choice that was made.
Maybe they meant to say resting. It's resting now that
Resting,
Yeah.
resting unit.
yeah.
Like, oh, it's asleep on the job now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Yeah.
they could have used committed. They could have used.
exerted, exhausted.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exhausted would have been a good one.
Exhausted would have been good, but
Too late now.
Imperial Assault by Fantasy Flight used that 10 years ago. And now, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can copyright these words for use in their games. Like
Yeah.
Magic has copyrighted the tap
Tap
symbol.
symbol.
Can't say tapped in your game, but it creates an interesting game flow choice where I have a robot with blocker. Do I want to leave this unit up to defend people, or should I go on the offensive and start taking out their shields? And whenever you attack, you have the choice. Do I go after an opponent's suit, or do I go after their base? Because every time you tap a unit, that leaves it vulnerable to be attacked by your opponents as well. I do think this game really encourages you to attack. Games have to end. The game has to progress. People have to lose hit points. People must lose shields in order for the game to go on.
Yeah.
So I might have a super suit, a Hero Yui in the Wing Gundam, but he doesn't have blocker or anything. If I leave him untapped, he's not doing anything for me. So I have to swing with him. I have to progress the board in some way. And yes, that leaves him vulnerable to attack, but what else am I going to do with him?
Yeah.
He's just going to sit there and they're going to go for my shields, and Hiro can't do anything about it because he doesn't have that blocker keyword. There's some interesting choices to make there. We also didn't mention that when units attack each other, they deal attack to the opponent's HP at the same time simultaneously, and then that damage that's on a suit sticks.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away at the end of a turn.
It's kind of like
That damage
Pokemon
sticks.
in that way, where they have hit points, and the damage stays marked on them. Yeah.
The damage stays, and once the damage is more than their health, then the suit, whatever pilot was on it, it all gets destroyed.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Randy?
Pretty simple, straightforward.
Oh, I was just saying, it's like it's, a mecha's taking battle damage. It's not going to get instantly repaired after every single clash.
Exactly.
It's going to take the hit and then either die or keep going.
So if you've got questions about how the game is played, go watch a different instructional video.
That's right.
That's not particularly why we're here. Let's get to the things we like about Gundam Card Game.
I think we all like giant robots here. Most of us have seen at least one Gundam show. Most of us, I think, have seen more than that. And I know you and I at least grew up on Gundam Wing. Did y'all, Derek and Randy, did y'all grow up?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, Gundam Wing, G Gundam, and just like normal regular Gundam.
G Gundam. Ooh, that will be a fun set when this gets added.
Yeah.
Give me
I would be
Super
excited for
Robot.
that. Yeah.
Give me Super Robot.
You didn't,
Yeah,
Randy?
I didn't grow up on it. I don't know. I don't know if I just had practice after school and I missed that one or what, but
I did watch Wing Gundam. I did not understand it.
That's
There's
fair.
so much complex
As a kid, yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Political intrigue and stuff on top of like how bad like Japanese storytelling is, on top of like the tell don't show kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never understood what was going on.
That's fair.
Yeah.
There's so much Gundam. There's dozens of series, several movies. It's just really deep. I think they've got a lot, it'll take them a while to exhaust the IP, but it's all in similar universes with similar styles. And I think it's one that we can all get into.
Yeah.
So I know we like that. Viewers may not, depends on if you like it or not. I think the IP is also something that even if you've never watched Gundam, you kind of understand there are giant robots fighting each other, and there are pilots that get in there to fight. Like, you don't have to have seen Gundam to get it.
Yeah.
Like-
I'm with you there.
You can look at the art and go, that's a really big suit, and it's got a huge gun. And that's
I
represented
wonder how it fights.
Yeah. That attack power is really high, probably because of that giant sword that it's... Okay, you get it. So I think that's a big plus.
That's absolutely a plus for us. It's nostalgic. The well of material is deep. After Randy and my trip to Japan, Randy kept telling me a bunch of anime I need to watch, and I kept telling him, listen, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be watching Detective Conan or Gundam.
there's enough out there.
There's 1,400 episodes of Detective Conan. There's over 50 movies, and almost the same is true for Gundam. There's 20-something series of Gundam. They literally just came out with one over the summer. Gundam G-Quux is brand new. So
It's been around since the 70s.
exactly. It's been around a very long time. This just feels good to us. I loved opening boosters and putting them into a binder and then just going through the pages and looking at all the beautiful art of Gundam stuff. That just felt really good for me.
So like y'all grew up watching it for the robots and then like it for the intrigue. See, now I didn't watch it as a kid, and now that I'm an adult, I'm like, yeah. The story's cool. I like the robots.
Yeah.
I'm still, I at that kid
I mean,
stage.
that's still me too.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
no, I like giant monsters, like Godzilla, and giant robots fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Shut up
not
and get
gonna
to the fight. Get to the fight.
Yeah.
I've actually only finished one full season of a Gundam series.
Which
And that was
one?
just season one of Iron.
Was it Gundam
Iron Blood
00?
Orphans. No.
Iron Blood
Iron Blood
Orphans.
and Orphans. I
Oh,
finished
that's
the
pretty
first
good.
season, didn't finish the second season, and then I watched a little bit of 00, and I've seen like maybe one episode of I think G Gundam. So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, but
G Gundam's
sometimes
just a fun romp. It's just a
Tournament
fun
art.
action romp. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'd like it if I sat down and gave it a shot.
Yeah.
But right now, I just like models
The
and having fun
models.
building that.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I brought
Yeah,
back
that's so much fun.
9 models. It's the most money I've spent in Japan, probably. Had to buy 2
Same here.
suitcases to bring it all back.
So let's keep going on things we liked about the game. I wanted to bring up the cards having levels, the levels that were required to play them. It's just a check, yes or no. Are you this level? Has enough time progressed in the game for you to play this card? And I think that's really cool design, that extremely powerful cards are just restricted by time.
Mhm.
It's like, I'm sorry, this is a really powerful card. Your opponent has to have time to build, plan, defend. Your opponent has to have time to build up whatever before you can even play this card. There are ways to accumulate resources faster. There are ways to ramp in green, best color in yet another card game. But in general, for the majority of the different color options, you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can play this card. And in terms of deck building, do you fill your deck with level 6 things? No, not at all, because then you're completely undefended for 6 turns while your opponent does more stuff.
You're dead by turn 5.
Exactly. You've got to have a balance throughout your deck of actions to take on each turn. You have to give your opponents an opportunity to prepare before you can hit them with something big. I think that's cool.
Like, it lends itself to being cinematic.
Yes.
Like, in a fight, the low basic guys are going to come in first and get those first shots in, and then get tore up, and then a little bit better, some like general from the bad guys team is going to show up and start kicking butt, and then it comes in, some really high level dude with this
the aces,
custom, the aces.
Yeah,
they're going to come in and then just start cutting through people, and it's like, okay, he killed the one guy, and then he dealt 1 damage to each other mech I had, cleared my board. Like, that's cinematic. That's the thing where you do the laser and then afterwards.
Yes.
That's what that was.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just very cinematic, you gotta wait for the big hero shot to come in, and also the game's gotta end. It's like, I'm getting bigger things out here. We gotta end this game soon.
Exactly. The intensity and the power of all the cards is increasing as the game goes, but not before.
Right.
And I think that's smart design. I think it's interesting design. It keeps me invested until the end.
One thing I super dislike about Japanese card games as a whole is they have these huge power numbers, like just 1,000 power and 9,000 power and things like that. This doesn't have that. Wing Gundam plus Hero Yui was made a 7/7 power toughness unit, and that was the biggest we saw. 7 beats 6. I have 1 health remaining. I don't have to do 7,000 minus 5,000 plus this and all that, and then do the carry on damage does 2,000 damage, whatever. It doesn't have extra zeros on it.
Yeah,
it's just simple small numbers. Not that it's impossible, it's just a needless amount of information that I don't care for, so I'm glad it didn't have that.
Yeah, this was so easy. You never had to add or subtract a number higher than 7.
Yeah.
I think another good thing was the multiplayer variant we played was very, very easy. So we just did whoever knocks the first person out wins the entire thing. So it kind of keeps it interesting because you don't want to get someone down too low on your turn that one of the other 2 players is going to get to finish them off before you. I think that's kind of fun. And I tried to keep it very, very even on ours. I got everyone down to 3 while I still had 5 in a base. And I was like, okay, I should be able to kill anyone next time my turn comes around. But I didn't get to.
Yeah, but Benjamin beat you to it.
With
I
Derek's
forgot
help.
that you had to hit the person as well. And I was like, no, I can do 3, but not 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked playing winner take all. We talked a few weeks ago about using winner take all as a multiplayer variant for Magic.
Beat it up.
And it was so nice to have a quick game with all 4 of you where there was literally 0 downtime afterwards. We all were ready for the next game after that game was over. Because the game was over. After one person was knocked out, me, Benjamin was the winner, and that was it. We all picked up our cards and started shuffling. So I really liked that.
Something I really liked is the automatic resource system. Your resources start in a separate deck, and every turn you add 1. And I know y'all have talked about the leveling and all that, but you're never going to be mana screwed. You're going to be you might be I guess it's resource screwed or resource flooded. But the fact that it's not in your deck means you're also never top decking a resource and going, oh, right. You get your resource from outside of your main deck, and then you draw a card. So every turn you're drawing gas. I think we mentioned in our Magic decks a lot about the need for card draw because you're playing a resource and then also playing a card every turn. There isn't that much card draw, but you also don't notice it. Late in the game, Travis was going, oh, this game needs more card draw. And I'm like, you still have 3 cards in your hand. And it's because you're getting your resources and every turn you're drawing gas. And oftentimes you're getting cards from playing a base or things like that. And so
Right,
I think
playing a base and adding a shield to your hand is card draw.
it is. Yeah.
Because you're getting another card that you can use.
Get you closer to death, but it's card draw.
The only shield that matters is the last one.
That's right. So,
Or not even that.
I mean, I like that system. I will continue to say that the variance in Magic is one of its strengths. It rewards good deck building and all of that. But sometimes you just want a game where everybody gets to do the thing and you don't care about whether or not, you put the right ratio of lands in your deck. And this is a game that really rewards deck building without considering when are you going to get access to resources. You know that for 10 turns, you're going to make your land drop.
I think Hearthstone does this.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, and Wonders of the First did this outside of the stones thing for Wonders of the First, but you just add an energy every turn. So I think this game has a lot going for it. A lot of things we like about its design, but let's be critical and let's talk about some of the things that we didn't like about this game, some frustrations we faced, and I'll start us off. It is September 2nd, 2025. This game just came out a month ago, end of July or mid-July. Mid-July, it's been out for a month and a half. This game is so limited. Limited availability of boosters. They're hard to find. And when you do find them, the secondary market prices are enormous. Why am I paying $8 for a booster pack? Or when I go to my shop, why can they only sell me 4 boosters at a time in order to ensure availability to everyone? But why didn't they just get enough product?
Well,
and now I don't know who to blame for that. Is it the scalpers problem?
There is a whole mailing postage crisis because of the tariffs and all that stuff going on that could be affecting it.
Maybe. But no, so I went to my local game store, I think it was Sunday, and asked them, and they're like, nope, our supply, they blame their suppliers. They didn't blame Bandai. They said the suppliers are basically giving them like all to like one big store or whatever and not giving anybody else stuff. I don't know who to blame, but
I don't know
either.
I don't know who to blame either.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating either way. It's hard to play this game. It's hard to build decks. There's only so much replayability you can get from a starter deck playing against another starter deck. And that's kind of why we plan this series to be like, okay, we're going to have one night of starter deck versus starter deck, because after that one night, I don't need to do starter deck versus starter deck again and again and again and again and again. I need to be deck building after that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I need to be deck building. And for a month and a half, I've been stuck with starter deck versus starter deck. It's hard to play.
Sail the high seas.
I mean, it's boring.
Right click, copy, right click,
it's
paste,
boring.
Print.
It's boring playing with the same cards over and over again. Who wants to do another one?
The deck building is split into colors, similar to Magic, similar to Lorcana, but instead of it being any kind of philosophy like it is behind Magic, the colors seem to be like a series, like the Wing Gundam series is in green, and Xeon is in red or something like that.
Red, yeah.
Or like the factions, whatever. It's just like, why are they separated this way and that way? I don't know what the point of the color system is if it's only to just say this is a Wing Gundam card, this is a original Gundam card, or whatever. Why do it? Because we can only have 2 colors, so it's like I can only have 2.
Yeah, this game is
series
arbitrarily limited to 2 colors as well,
similar
just
to
like Lorcana was.
Yeah.
No, Derek, I 100% agree with you. It is part of the fun of having a card game and building custom decks to say, I would love to put Hero and Amuro in the same deck, or Hero and Zex on the same side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a deck.
The Vorthos kind of stuff, that like playing towards like all these story things. I want to put all these angsty teenagers or all my rebel characters in a deck and have them, fight the world or whatever.
Yeah.
It would be tons of fun to have Kira, Hero, Amuro, all of the angsty pro
Yeah.
tags all in a deck together.
Setsuna.
PTSD
Yeah.
child
absolutely.
soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the deck I want to play. I want to have a deck with all masked antagonists.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
Like,
That
that'd
would
be
be.
fun too. Well, Zex is blue, Char is red, and eventually we'll get a few more, but I know that Zaft from Gundam Seed is white, and already I can't do it. Man, that's frustrating.
It seems weirder that we'd put. I mean, it's not weird. It's whatever you want. But we're putting the heroes and the villains in the same like color identity. That feels weirder Vorthos wise than it does to me that these different protagonists or different villains or whatever are teaming up together like some kind of cabal or some kind of
Yeah.
group or whatever over here.
Yeah. This isn't necessarily something I don't like about the game, but it's something that makes me hesitate to really dive into the game. And that's that Bandai has a long history of launching a game, squeezing money out of it, and then stopping the game. And look, they've already done this. They've done multiple Gundam games, right? There's, they had MS War. They have something, what's it? I just had it up. It's called Battle Spirits. They had Gundam Cross War. They've had a bunch of games already where they introduce a game and some support for it, and then they stop. I'm worried that we'll get really invested. I'll become the number one player in the world, and then
it'll mean nothing.
And it'll mean nothing. I mean, they do that with their mobile apps too. They do that with their video games.
Yep.
I mean, it's like,
and that is true, y'all. And listeners, you can go back to our archives in YouTube to learn that Benjamin was the number one player in the world a few times for Gundam Breaker Mobile.
Yeah, I still have it installed. I can't do anything.
Benjamin refuses to uninstall.
I refuse to uninstall it.
Number one player in the world, but it's a defunct game that can't play anymore.
King of nothing.
That's right.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. And you're right that we just have to kind of let it ride out and decide if we want to invest or not and play the stock, play the secondary market because they're playing us.
Sure. And of course, making episodes like this and getting people involved, that's how you keep a game going. And we talked about that in other episodes when we talked about, hey, like when you go and support your hobby of choice, you help it to continue. So if you like Gundam Card Game, go play it, and that'll make it more likely to last. Bandai makes great IPs when it comes to stuff like this. I think they've made a great game, but I don't trust them to keep it going long term.
I just want to throw in this real quick that I guess in my head I can rationalize it like, okay, let's say over the course of 2 years, I spent $200 on this game. Well, at least at the end, if they do in support, I still have the cards. I've been playing with it for 2 years, like a video game. Or maybe not anymore because all games are live services now. But back in the day,
but I know what you mean. If we have the physical media,
you have the physical media. Well, so when you have the physical disc, it's like I have Mass Effect. I can play it as many times as I want. It's never going to get anything new, but I can still enjoy it. And in the past, I've gotten my money's worth of enjoyment out of it. So I definitely do want it to continue. But if something does go belly up, it's like, well, they can't take the physical part away from me. And I did already get several hours, so my money's well spent, for entertainment.
I'll kind of tie this worry into something that I see already happening in design. I worry that the well of material might not be able to keep up with the demands of a release schedule because the next set is already coming out later this month. And it's already going to have 2 more Gundam series in it. It's only September. They will need to do a Christmas season release.
Yeah.
They will need to do a spring release. And this is as if we were still in ancient Magic the Gathering, where we're talking 4 releases a year. I mean, we know that Magic the Gathering is doing 8 releases a year now.
The sun never sets.
Exactly. Is Gundam going to try to do that? Are all of Bandai's other card games trying to keep up with that release? Because if they're going to do 2 new IP or 2 new Gundam series per set, they will run out. And here's something that I see already happening in the card game now is that they have cards with the same name, but with different stats or abilities. There are already multiple versions of Wing Gundam And even worse, there are multiple versions of Char's Zaku 2 that have the same name and the same stats, but different text boxes.
Yeah.
So different abilities on the same suit. And they don't have different names, they just have different art and then different text. Like, how many times can the Gundam card game remake Char's Zaku 2? There's already 2 versions of that. There's already 2 versions of Sandrock, Heavy Arms. There's like, we've already got multiple versions. Eventually, they'll have to circle back and start reusing old IPs, and maybe they color shift, or maybe they do yet another alternate version of repeated suits over and over again. But looking across the field and seeing Char's Zaku 2 and not knowing which one it is, that's frustrating. And it's a problem that Magic had solved very, very early, where a card name is only that card. There may be multiple versions of Teferi, but each one has a different epithet, saying here's the same character, but a different version of that. And that's something we also mentioned in Lorcana. Like, sure, there's lots of Winnie the Poohs, but at least this one is Winnie the Pooh Honey Knight. And the next one is Winnie the Pooh Sleepy Wizard or whatever.
I mean, yeah, I think
So-
I have that card.
Yeah, yeah. So that is a worry that I have about Gundam Card Game right now, is they didn't even take the effort to differentiate the names of these cards.
Yeah.
And Benjamin, you kind of had something that goes along with this.
Oh, the alternate art treatments.
All the alternate art
Yeah.
treatments.
So this is a new problem with Magic over the last couple years. Gundam took it and said right off the bat, we're gonna say, we're gonna have 5 different arts for the same card. You have different treatments where there might be more background or foreground showing with different foilings and whatever, and that is what it is, bordered or borderless and all that stuff. But also just entirely different art, different animators doing the same character. Like we noticed there was a
Yeah.
card with Relina on it, and
It's the card First Contact, and I'll put the art up there. There's a version that looks like Relina, and then there's a version that has the same hairstyle and clothes as Relina that looks nothing like Relina. It's just a completely different person.
It's barely even anime. It was like a weird CGI something. I don't know. But yeah, one of the easiest ways to learn a card game is by being able to recognize a card by sight, and having experienced it, I know what it does. And I don't have to read the card every time I see it.
Every time you play, yeah.
But it's already was going to be a problem with this game because many giant robot suits on a 3x4 card are going to look similar. But then when you have a variety of arts for the same suit, in addition to, Char's Zaku 2 and a different Zaku, well, they'll be different colors. But like, the Gundam RX-78 2 and a later 3 are going to
Yeah.
look pretty similar. So if you have three art variations for each of those, I'm going to be like, it's going to take that much longer. I'm going to have to read every card for probably the next 6 months. And in the meantime, they're pumping more cards into the ecosystem. It's one of the things I have a problem with Magic with now, is I can't look across the board and say, I know for sure what that card is just at a glance. And it's a much bigger problem in Gundam, I feel like.
All of these different alternate art versions, they do this for collectors so that the collectors can have the version that they want or whatever, but all of this also inflates the price of the product. Once again, it makes it hard for the plebes like me to play because it makes it more difficult to afford. I have one more thing that I didn't like, and this is kind of back into the gameplay. In so much of Gundam, there's the hero that shows up at the end and is just undefeatable. And this is the feeling in Magic when I successfully suit up a Voltron commander, is I want a super suit, a super mobile suit. But in this game, even my 7/7 souped up Hiro Yui piloting the Wing Gundam can still only survive killing 2 suits because he takes damage back in each fight, and then he's out.
Yeah.
And then he's gone. Like, I feel like he doesn't make the table impact that I wish he would. He arrives, he kills a suit, kills a shield, and then at that point he's rested. Somebody else attacks him. He's already taken damage from the first suit he destroyed, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
He killed 1 suit, 1 shield, and then died. That is kind of disappointing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for being mechs, there's not much of a wow factor when you play a card.
Yeah, a bit of the flavor is lost here, and I don't know how to fix it without completely destroying the game balance, without completely making it a one-sided game. But I don't know.
Yeah. I personally, at least with the starter decks, I kind of liked it because I felt like it was impossible for someone to run away with the game. When you get your 7/7 and I'm sitting there and I've only drawn my 2 1s and my 3 3s, I know that I can throw 3 suits at your Wing Gundam, and now things are back on,
and create parity again.
Yeah, we're back at parity. Yeah. I felt like it created an interesting tension where I had to decide if I was going to send 3 suits at your shields. You were going to each turn pick off a suit and breach 3, or do I throw everything at the Wing Gundam? Because I think if the Wing Gundam was undefeatable, there would no longer be that interesting choice to make, right? If anybody here has played Union Arena, it's like when Saitama hits the field, it's just gonna hit my life. I'm not gonna block it. It's whatever.
Exactly.
Whereas when the suits are in range to be defeated by a few units hitting back, I felt like that was more fair.
Something I also didn't super care. If you didn't have a mech, you're just dead in the water. And I mean, I'm playing an intro deck that I didn't build. I don't have the cards to make a new deck. I don't really have the knowledge to even try to build a new deck. But every time except for one time that I've played this game, I've been stuck drawing pilots and stuff where I'm like, well, I wish I could do something, but I'm sitting here unable to play the game because these cards are useless without the mechs.
I did feel you, Derek. I mean, obviously it's a game based around Gundams. You need Gundams in your deck.
Yes.
But I do like that about Magic, about how you don't have to have creatures to win. There's other strategies.
Yeah.
And this one, if it wasn't just you have to have Gundams, but if you did not draw that part of your deck, you couldn't attack, you couldn't
literally
block.
Cannot do anything. You cannot win, and all you can do is lose.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, well, put more mechs in your deck. You didn't have enough in your army to fight.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
And Derek was talking about the experience with the starter deck.
Yeah. And it is a starter deck.
The starter deck had a ratio that he couldn't control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that does feel bad. But we've talked about the things we liked about the game, and we've talked about some things that we didn't like. So let's get to this middle ground. There were some issues that we think are up for debate. The listeners, especially Magic players, these are some things that you might like, you might enjoy experimenting with this game, or some things that might turn you off. And so those are the things that we're going to talk about now. Randy, start us off on this one.
So I kind of mentioned earlier about I didn't grow up with it, so I don't have that nostalgia baked in. I'm a more recent person to the Gundam genre. Now, luckily, I do like giant robots, but if you're not into Gundam, if you're not into giant robots, I think getting someone into it is going to be a bit harder because it's just kind of one note. It's just robots. At least Magic has angels and demons and magic and cats.
Tons
you can
of
have
variety.
A whole cat deck. You can build you can build a deck of just buildings, like my shrine deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put the link there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think that's a really good insight.
The people who actually enjoy Gundam and all that stuff, they are enjoying the game on a level that I guess someone who doesn't can't really get into. Like Travis gonna get hyped when he sees Zex.
Yeah, Zex and the tall geese. I have a tattoo of the tall geese on my back.
Yeah, the tall geese comes out, and he's getting excited. He's like, "Oh, sweet!" That's a lot of stuff. But I know of Gundam. I haven't seen it in 20 years. So one mech with a big gun and a big sword looks practically the same as the other mech with a big gun and big sword. So it's there's not any let's do that. That's my guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of maybe front loading. It's like, hey, in order to enjoy this card game, you need to spend 52 hours watching Gundam shows. I think that's an excellent insight. So this weekend when we played a free-for-all multiplayer game of Gundam, and then we played Magic later in the evening. And I realized as we were playing Magic that Gundam was so much easier. And it almost made me wonder, is it too simple? Is it too easy? Because as I was playing Magic, I was deeply invested. I was sitting up straight. I was looking at everybody's board. I was paying attention to the cards and the interactions and everything else going on. And during Gundam, I just did not feel that. I would put my hand down and I would just sit back and wait to see what happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with the Lorcana problem, where it's like, I can't do anything on an opponent's turn, so it doesn't matter if I pay attention or not. So why should I when I can just get instant dopamine hits off my phone or, do something else?
Yeah. And like, obviously I was watching because I don't want to be the person to draw a card and then look at the board to do my turn. But all I can do is see the cards in my hand and wait to watch people's decisions and if they attack me or not. But even so, the interactions between pilots, mobile suits, enemy mobile suits, it just did not seem very complex. And Benjamin and my mom, bless her heart, she listens to the podcast.
Yes.
And she listens to every episode, but she's like, I couldn't play Magic. The game is so deeply complex. I don't know if I could play. I think she could get Gundam.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think she could understand this card game. So Magic players, Gundam might be too simple. If you want a game that is more complex, with more interactions, and like Derek mentioned, more opportunities to interact, more back and forth, it might not be the game for you either.
Yeah. But I do think a lot of people are looking for that because it is strategically complex, I feel like. On your turn, there's lots of decisions to make about whether or not to attack and make yourself vulnerable or not, where you're going to attack. And especially in a 4-player game, there were lots of decisions. I would say it's kind of like chess, right? Where once you learn how the pieces move, chess is not hard, but there's a lot of decisions to make. It probably doesn't have the same strategic complexity as chess. But some people are looking for a game where you don't have to be on the edge of your seat trying to figure out what 4 people are doing with all these cards that can interact in a bonkers numbers of ways. That was one of the things I was going to put in this section. So there are no combos, no infinite Rube Goldberg machines that I've seen. There's some good synergies kind of baked into the factions. They're meant to work together.
Yeah, the Green Gundam Wing Boys love to breach.
Yeah.
They say, let's destroy suits and hit shields at the same time.
Yeah. I like the simplicity because this is a way for me to get like my kids into Gundam. They're not ready to watch Gundam 00, right? But they're probably ready to play with Gundam 00 cards so that they're interested, they're excited, they get to do something with me and play this game and master it pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
And then when I'm ready to show them a Gundam show, they're going to be like, I have that card. I can do this. Kind of a reverse of what y'all were talking about earlier about if you don't know the IP. But
yeah, a way to get into the show because of the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your kid's going to be like, my favorite card was the bad guy? He's Mecha Hitler?
Every time I destroyed St. Gabriel Institute, that was a school?
That was an orphanage! I'm a
my
monster.
God.
And then now your child has PTSD.
All of these kids are 15?
I think, since it is just the very beginning, though, of Gundam's card game, that there could be enough potential for it to grow into something more complex. Maybe, I still don't know if it'd be as complex as Magic, just because currently there just isn't as many variables, even just card types. But I'm pretty sure, like, alpha day 1 Magic was probably boring to watch. I'm going to play 2 for a 1-1
Magic
Lion.
players, get in the comments, show us what's the Pro Tour footage of
I'm just saying,
Alpha.
You look at the old stuff, and it looks like it was probably
Quick back and forth play.
boring and
Sarah
simple.
Angel beatdown.
Well, the thing about
Steven
Alpha
Dragon.
Magic or whatever is that it was. I mean, I don't know
The
what else
first
was
card game.
out of the time of like when Magic came out, but it was kind of on the frontier of what a card game can do and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Gundam's had 50 years of card games and looking at Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, all that stuff, and
To
saying,
learn
"Hey,
from.
that's working. That's not working.
Well, yeah,
Let's implement this. Let's not implement that."
I
I
mean,
mean, maybe they want a simple game, and that was an intentional choice, or maybe they're just leaving power creep design space or something. I don't know.
Man, I get so scared thinking that they've just left room for power creep design space.
okay, so
I mean,
what I'm going to say,
but
though,
they have.
is I think that yeah, there has been Magic for 30 something years, and they've done a lot of things and like laid the way in a bunch of other card games. But just because all those things came before it doesn't mean that they've had time to like workshop every single one of those. Like it still took
Yeah.
Magic 30 years to get there,
I mean-
to get to where it is. So in 30 years, if they supported the Gundam game for 30 years, I bet it would be a lot more complex, because they would probably add, it was like we didn't have sagas and what's that other Battlefield or whatever that
Yeah,
they just
Battles.
added to battles, like that would have blown 1992 Magic players' minds,
True.
Well, just a planeswalker.
Yeah.
a planeswalker, an
Yeah.
artifact vehicles that could be crewed,
That's true.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Even equipment. Yeah. But also, counterpoint, there were turn 1 wins in Magic in Alpha.
to me, that's a flaw. Just saying.
Okay.
Benjamin, that's not a bug. That's a feature.
Channel
So-
Fireball. Just
I think it's basic now, but I think every game, the very, very first version, it's going to be very basic. It's going to be much vanilla.
My wish list for Gundam. Added card types, things like stationary weapons, like cannons or mega lasers or space stations, I think would be cool.
Maybe a base, you pay resources and it deals damage.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Do a base that's like a scrapyard. And so it allows you to like get a mobile suit from your graveyard, discard pile, whatever, and then bring it back out.
I'd like
And
to
then-
see
and then-
graveyard shenanigans.
yeah.
There are many, many, many Gundam series where the suits will put on a backpack or some extra additional
Yeah.
equipment. I would love to be able to mix and match from different series.
You want a kit bash.
Yes, that's Gunpla is freedom, Benjamin.
That's right.
So I would love to be able to put the GN arms onto the heavy arms.
Yeah.
Just
Or
things like
Like
that.
Penelope. It's multiple
Yes.
ones that kind of.
Yeah, kit bashing would be cool.
I think something that is coming is terrains, because they're already named on the suits. Land, sea,
Yes.
space,
That's
whatever.
right.
I think that would be cool, where it's like, if you play sea, all units without sea get -1/-1 or something.
Yeah.
And
Yes, that will be exciting. Maybe laned battlefields, being like airships can only attack airships, land ships can only attack land ships. I don't know. All right, boys and girls, let's rate this game. As always, whenever we rate a game, we showcase a set of dice from El Dorado Gaming. And today I have got a personal set that I've been using in our Pathfinder game with my Merfolk character. These are the hollow Kraken dice. The Krakens are on the corners and then the tentacles extend to create the sides. I love the readability on these dice. The numbers are red and then outlined in gold. Beautiful.
very nice. You just got to cover your face. I think that's the deal.
Whenever we rate our new games, we decide on a die size. So our lowest is a D4, and then a D6, a D8, a D10, a D12, or a D20. And as of now, no games have scored a D20
That's true.
because we're coming from Magic. If it's not as good as Magic, I don't think it's ever going to score that. Derek, start us off. What are your opinions? What's your rating for Gundam Card Game?
Yeah, I want to give it a surprising D10.
All
I think it's the highest I've rated a game so far. I think the game is fun. It's fairly simple to learn. I'm just already bored to tears with it because I've played the starter deck as much as I can and am willing to take it. And with supply issues and then kind of the concern about how long will this game be going, I'm afraid to get more invested. So I think a D10 is the absolute peak, and everything is downhill from here, depending on whatever they do. I mean, if they come out and then really blow my mind with stuff, we could talk about it a D12 or something like that later.
I think that's a really measured and reasonable response.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Randy, what do you think?
I'm gonna give it a D12. I really had fun with
Ooh.
it. It was pretty quick to pick up and learn. It's not overly complicated, and you're not overwhelmed with I think like an issue Magic has of having 600 units on board. It's like, no,
Yes.
6.
Yeah.
That's what you get. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good sweet spot, and you don't have to worry about being short on ramp or mana. Quick, simple, fun, and cool, nostalgic if you have a thing for Gundam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For many of Randy's reasons, I also decided to rate it as a D12. I especially like the ramp up in power of the game. And as of now, the ability to manually ramp, to play cards to artificially increase my resource production, those are few and far between as of now. Your deck has to be in that color, and there aren't many cards that do it. So I really enjoy the increase of power as it goes back and forth between the players. I like the opportunity for there to be a back and forth before somebody ultimately comes out on top. And Gundam does that for me. It's got that nostalgia factor. I mentioned my tattoo. Gundam is a formative franchise in my life. It affects the way I look at the world and political events and foreign relations. I like it a lot.
Cool.
Benjamin, how about you?
Yeah, I too gave it a D12. I like how quick it was to pick up. I like that despite being simple, that I was able to make meaningful decisions at every stage of the game, except in those situations like Derek mentioned where you don't have a mobile suit and you're just sitting there going, well, I can't do anything without a unit. But as long as I drew enough units, I always felt like I was making meaningful decisions throughout the game. And of course, the IP, is one I can get into, and the flavor's already there. Like when you're put a pilot with a suit and see how those abilities interact with each other, it feels good. And when different pilots are with different suits, if you don't care about waiting a turn, if you don't care about the link, you actually get interesting combinations.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah, I really liked it. The reason I don't give it a D20, it's not Magic. I have no loyalty to Magic. I think Derek said it in a previous episode, something like, "Hey, look, if another card game comes along and it's fun to play and cheap to get into and whatever, he'll abandon Magic in a second." I'm like that too.
I think that was Randy.
That's
I
me.
think I've said something like it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, okay, so that's 2 people in our group, right, that are willing to leave Magic, and I'm willing to leave Magic too, but the reason I haven't is because I like the complexity. I like the ability to express a wide variety of play styles. If you want a deck that's all about giant robots, you can do that in Magic. But if I don't want a deck that's about giant robots, I don't have to. And Gundam, that's what you're doing. So I will say that most of the things we said we didn't like were meta things. Things like availability, things like worry about the future, art treatments, and themes. And so as far as gameplay goes, I thought it's a well-designed game, and I think as long as they continue to develop new products so you're not stuck playing starter decks, I think it'll continue to be a good game for a while.
Cool. That sounds great. It's always so fun. Whether we end up liking the games or not, I have really enjoyed and look forward to doing more. It is really exciting to learn a new game, see what companies are doing, and like even Bandai, who has 10 different card games, seeing the different choices they will make through different games in order to represent different ideas. That to me is still fun. From a game design perspective, saying why did they choose to do it that way instead of that way and stuff like that. So listeners, please follow us on Spotify. You can find that link down in the description. Let's get to 2,000. If you like us and have followed us on Spotify, leave us a 5-star review. We will read those live on the pod. And our merch is available through our site on Fourth Wall. You can find that link in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for listening. And Benjamin, Derek, Randy, thank you guys for being my great friends. Adios.
Bye.
Later.
Bye, guys.
This episode was sponsored by Eldorado Gaming. Use the promo code META for 10% off your order. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. This episode was edited by me, Travis Konishek, and our intro and outro music is by Tyler Heath of the Oh Hellos.